Let's look at teams within Patricia. Teams are groups of individuals that are responsible for specific cases. Each case in Patricia has a single team allocated to it. The team is decided whenever a new case is created, and this is set in the Create Case screen under the Team field. This field is red, which means it is mandatory, so you can be assured all cases in your system will have a team connected. Let's talk a moment about how teams look. A team usually consists of a team leader, also known as a case responsible. In my example, you can see that I am the team leader. This is my role within the team. I lead the team. This brings us to an important concept of roles within a team. In practice, my team will consist of several individuals, each with their own role and skill set. Some team members will be responsible for renewals, others will deal with admin-related tasks, and so on. These areas of responsibility we group under the concept of role types. A role type defines the role of the person within the organization. Examples of roles are secretaries, paralegals, renewal responsible individuals, and so on. Let's look at my team. I am the team leader, and this is my role. I then have a team member called Eve Moneypenny in the role of a secretary, and she is responsible for all secretary-related work. I have another team member called Irma Bunt under the role of renewal assistant. Irma's responsibility is to send out all renewal reminders every day. Why is this important and why does it matter? Teams tie into several aspects of Patricia and proper case management. Let's take a look at a few examples. First, it strongly ties in with terms. If you think about it, terms are actions that individuals need to perform at specific times. Who are these individuals and how do we know that the term will end up on the right person? This brings up an aspect about terms not yet discussed. All terms are preset with a specific role attached to them. In my example here, I see 3 active terms. The first, 4125, falls on Eve. This term, Forward Registration Certificate, is indeed a secretary-related action, and Eve is my secretary. It's then safe to assume that this term has the role type secretary attached to it. The next term is a deadline term, which falls on me, the team leader. This is indeed correct, as I, the case responsible, needs to know about any and all upcoming or missed deadlines on my term list. This means that this term has the role case responsible attached to it. The next term falls on Irma, our renewal assistant, and she needs to send all renewal reminders to client when the time is due. Indeed, this term correctly has the renewal assistant role attached. So how does this work? Whenever I register a term on a case, Patricia checks the role connected to the term first. In my example, I will now update the renewal workflow from Notify of Renewal, which is Irma's responsibility, to Order Renewal, which is Eve's responsibility. Look what happens when I register that term. Eve immediately appears as the person responsible. So I update my term, Patricia then checks the role type of the term, and then checks if my team has a person with that kind of role allocated to them. If it does, it will choose this person as the default responsible person. In this manner, Patricia quickly and efficiently ensures that the terms end up on the correct individuals. You are not limited to only these individuals, of course, and can change this by clicking on the drop-down here or the search icon. If you have multiple individuals in your team with the same role, let's say I have 2 secretaries in my team, both will be listed in this drop-down. But what if both my secretaries are not in office for some reason, and I want my renewal assistant, Irma, to deal with this term? Irma is not listed as an option, so how do I allocate the term to her? Simply click on the search icon to see a complete list of all users and then choose the relevant person from there. The next way that teams tie into cases are via documents. Patricia has extensive bookmarks available to us when pulling in team information into our generated documents. One possible use is to add signatory details on documentation. In my example, I have generated a template which pulled in the name details of the person who created the letter and also the team leader. Great, so we know what teams are, that they consist of many individuals, and that they are linked to cases and terms. So what happens if a team leader leaves an organization, which means that the team does not exist anymore? We have several cases with that team set as the responsible entity. So what do? Or perhaps the case in question changes responsibility to another team. When this occurs, we need to change the team on the case. We have various options available to us to do this. The option we choose depends on the situation. The first scenario is used when we want to change the team on our current case and all family-related cases. To do so, ensure that the case you need to change is open. Then click on the Actions drop-down and select Change Team on Family. The Change Team on Family window will then appear. Choose the case type and then enter the family number. Choose the new team and click OK. A pop-up will appear showing how many cases were updated. There is one downside to using this option, because the term responsible individuals will not be updated. The terms will remain on the old individuals from the previous team. You can of course change this by regenerating the term and then choosing a new responsible person. But there is an easier way to do this, and we will discuss that next. The second way to change a team is the option found on the Actions page called Change Team. This allows us to change the team and also reallocate the terms to the newly responsible persons. Open the case you wish to change and click on the Actions page. Then click on Change Team. The window for the selection of the new team will open. To change a team, select a new team from the pick list and click Start. On the left side of the window, we can see all active terms that need to be changed. All active terms must be assigned to new team members from the New Team block on the right. Each term must be assigned one by one to the person in the new team with the same role. For each active term, left-click with the mouse to select the person and then drag the cursor to the person on the new team in the same role. Note that when you do this, the new term responsible appears under the new person column. If there is a term that does not have a corresponding role in the new team area, you can add it manually. To do so, select the role and the person from this drop-down and then click Add Person. You can then update as necessary. Finalize your changes by clicking OK. You will receive a message indicating the change has occurred. The last option for changing a team are specific to scenarios where we have multiple cases that need to be updated, both teams and terms. This sort of action needs to be performed in the maintenance application and is out of scope for this video series. If this is required, contact your super user to assist.